What's up YouTube, and welcome to the Anabolic Outpost, and today I'm going to be going back to my roots and showing you a high protein, simple, microwavable dessert that you could have ready in less than 10 minutes. And the dessert that we will be making today is a microwavable vanilla protein cake. As the name suggests, this protein cake has optimal levels of protein to maintain muscle protein synthesis while also continuing to be low in calories, which is why I tend to eat this as a dessert after dinner before going to bed. But this is great to make really at any time of the day that you need to supplement some protein. And I really do enjoy making these single serving microwave recipes, so if you want to see more simple videos like this, comment down below and I'll be sure to keep bringing them. But as far as this recipe goes, let me show you what you will need to make it. The first ingredient is going to be the protein powder, and I'm using PE Science Vanilla, but any brand of vanilla is going to work well for this recipe. Fat-free milk, you could also substitute with almond milk if you would like. Powdered peanut butter, coconut flour, your sweetener of choice, I am using sucralose, baking powder, salt, 1 whole egg, and lastly, vanilla extract. To start this recipe out, you're going to grab a microwave-safe bowl. Go ahead and place it on the scale, and then you could measure out 32 grams of the protein powder. I'm now going to sprinkle in 6 grams of the powdered peanut butter, and in case you are wondering, you're not really going to get any peanut butter flavor at all on this. Of course, if you want to, you could add some more or switch up the powder, but this is just to add some extra protein in there at the end of the day. I'm now going to add in 7 grams of the coconut flour. I am now going to throw in my sucralose sweetener, adding in 1 gram, and then whatever sweetener you use, obviously just be sure to convert it. I'm now going to very carefully and both very dangerously sprinkle this baking powder in until it reaches the 2 gram measuring mark. And lastly, you would go ahead and add a pinch of salt. Like any other good cake recipe, we're now going to go ahead and mix the dry ingredients together. I got all the dry ingredients evenly mixed together, and I went ahead and just created a hole in the center, so when I go ahead and crack this egg in there, it's going to be a lot easier to break the yolk up, and I'll know for sure that the yolk is fully broken up before I cook it. Yes, I do use whole eggs on this channel, so if that offends you, just go ahead and substitute 50 grams of egg whites. And speaking of whites, I'm going to go ahead and pour in my milk, measuring it out to 60 grams. And then the last ingredient I got here is going to be 5 grams of vanilla extract. I now have all the ingredients ready to go here, and I'm going to go ahead and get in there with the whisk again, this time taking a little bit more care to make sure everything is evenly distributed here. And like I said earlier, I'm slowly mixing in that whole egg so that the yolk is evenly distributed and all the powder is going to get in there eventually. It's not too important of a step, but it definitely saves you a few minutes of mixing and time. It should be about 2 or 3 minutes though before it's fully mixed, and as I say, if you are in doubt, just keep mixing. And a quick tip here, once you think you're done mixing, is to just go ahead and scrape the sides of the bowl so it's all at the bottom and there isn't a bunch of batter stuck to the sides. This is just a very minor step, but it really helps so that there's no crusty pieces in there, as well as when you get to washing this, it will be a lot easier to do. And in case you haven't heard, it is legal to lick the whisk now, even when there's whole eggs inside of the batter, as they recently eradicated the salmon disease, so we're now safe to eat and drink raw eggs now. It's now time to get this cake in the microwave, and the cooking times are going to depend both on the wattage on the microwave and also how you want it to come out. So for me, I have an 1100 watt microwave, and I will usually go 60 to 90 seconds on this, but it also depends kind of how I want it to come out. I went 80 on mine, and there's still just a little pocket of liquid in the center there. And if you cook it at the 60-second mark, you will have closer to a lava cake with the liquid inside, which to me really isn't a bad thing. I like it this way so I could dip the cake chunks inside of the liquid and it's kind of like a frosting sort of appeal. But But if you don't like that and just want a solid cake, just go ahead and hit it with the full 90 seconds and maybe even more depending on your microwave. But that is it. You now have a delicious cake that is ready to eat, and it being vanilla gives you a lot of different flavor options as far as topping goes. Sometimes I like to add fruit, or I'll pour some Walden Farms 0-calorie syrup. You can't go wrong with some fat-free whipped cream on here, and that's really what the Anabolic Outpost is all about, is customization and finding something that you enjoy. And speaking of enjoying, let me tell you something else that you could enjoy, and that is the macros on this vanilla cake. It has 30 grams of protein with 12 grams of carbs and 8 grams of fat for a total of 255 calories. And just like I was saying earlier, this recipe is super high in protein but not much of anything else. And that's not a bad thing at all. You just have to be sure to eat this at the correct times that you want to. Like I said, right before bed is the perfect time for me, as I could fix that sweet tooth that I have usually after dinner before going to bed, while also having that protein digest overnight while I sleep. And that is all I have for today's recipe tutorial. If you did have any questions or were confused at all on how to make this or anything throughout the baking process, comment them down below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Other than that though, if you found this tutorial helpful and delicious, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and thank you for watching.